What up guys, I just thought I'd touch base on more of a serious kind of responsible video from a bird owner kind of standpoint, as I know we do post a lot of fun content, and we recently got a message. I mean, we get a lot of messages of kind of people wanting birds, but this one here kind of reminded me that we're just literally portraying this all wrong. It basically said, OMG, I've got to treat myself to these guys. How and where do I buy one safely? Now, these birds are not a treat to have. It's not something you just treat yourself with. And we get these messages a lot. And I know it's our fault and the whole bird influencer community for kind of literally just showing all the fun stuff about these birds. But in all honesty, these birds should have never, ever been pets. And majority of pet birds do really suffer. Just a few reasons what life with birds can really be like. I mean, they are ridiculously messy. Just the stuff you're cleaning off the floor from all the toys they are shredding on a daily basis is insane. The amount of poop that they basically do, I'm talking, you know, every 30 to 45 minutes there is going to be a poop somewhere. Don't forget about all the food they are going to throw from their beaks onto not only the floor but your beautiful white walls as well. And the amount of dust these birds put off is insane. And not many people really talk about the dust. It's one of those things where every time they preen, there's an entire layer of dust that is going to cover whatever surface that is. And if they're preening in multiple areas, there's a lot of dust that is going to collect, and we have to basically clean anywhere these birds are twice, sometimes 3 times a day. It is a crazy amount of work. Then there's the destruction side of things. Yes, these beaks do some serious damage, and they love to break stuff. Over the years, we have been through multiple TVs. We've been through iPhones. We've not got deposits back on houses. We've had chunks out of our beautiful oak doors. We've had our nice architraves ruined. We've had bits of plastic that are connected to doors just kind of bitten off. And the options are really endless on what birds do ruin. Then there's the aggression, you know? I mean, these birds may look fun and happy and cuddly and playful, but I don't know a single bird owner that hasn't had a really decent bite. And these birds get hormonal every year. They get very territorial, they get very aggressive. If you're planning to have one of these as a cuddly family pet, seriously think again. They are gonna draw blood, probably from you, probably from your family. I've been to A&E because of them. I've been bitten a whole bunch of times and it doesn't really stop. Their beaks can do serious damage, so unless you wanna really put in the work to understand their body language to another level, and even when you do, you know, you probably are still gonna get bitten. And this can be totally random as well, so this is a really big one. Then there's the noise these birds make. Now, a lot of people cannot handle it. We have visitors here, and when these birds go off, they do not understand how we constantly live with this. We are so lucky we have nice neighbors, but I know a whole bunch of people who have had noise complaints. It's kind of that scream that literally will rattle your head. And this could be for any reason. They could be happy, sad, thirsty, hungry. They might want to train. They might want to fly. These birds scream. It's their way of communicating. They are designed to be heard for miles in the wild. So imagine what that's really like in your home. Then there's the expense part of it. Yep, it's not just these birds that are expensive to buy. You got perches, you got toys, which is basically kind of just shredding money. There's food. They need a very varied diet. They need very high quality aviaries. You can't really cheap out on aviaries, otherwise your bird could get poisoned and die. There's vet bills. There's replacing your entire set of cookware, as birds need Teflon-free stuff. There is a crazy amount of expenses that do come with these birds, which people don't really understand until they get them. Some people cheap out and they learn their lesson the hard way. And these are honestly only some of the reasons that these birds get rehomed so much. They are the most rehomed pet in the entire world. To a point in this country, rescues are filled. Birds are being euthanized because there is nowhere for them to go, and people are still buying babies, which I honestly just find absolutely insane. Now, when we're out flying, people come up to us, you know, non-bird people, your normal kind of people, and they say to us, they hate seeing birds be pets, but it's kind of nice to see them out flying. And that's the general consensus of most people. Why are these beautiful birds being kind of caged? And it's nice, and I do love that we have trained our guys to fly so they can be outside, but I still do feel sorry for them. I mean, the majority of their day, if we're working this out on a basis of hours throughout a day, the majority of the day they just sit. I mean, we do have multiple perches around the house, they have an outdoor space, they have a decent sized aviary, we do take them out flying, but in the winter, you know, we can only fly 2 or 3 times a week. Usually it's cold or raining, and winter in the UK lasts something like 6 months. In the summer, we are out a lot more, pretty much nearly every day, but it's still like an hour, maybe a little bit more a day. And I feel we don't do enough for our guys, and majority of pet birds, not just in the UK, but worldwide, don't even get that. A whole bunch of them don't even know what flight really is. These are birds we're talking about. A huge amount of pet birds are basically cage bound the majority of their lives. And I explain this to people sometimes, and you know, some people come back and say to me, you know what, birds are easy. And I ask them their routine and they're like, yeah, I go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning and I come home at 6 o'clock in the evening and I get them out for an hour before bed. I mean, what kind of life is it for a bird like that? You know, 23 hours in a cage forever? But why do people have them? Where did this craziness start? I think it's just one of those human things where, you know, we think we're entitled to whatever we want, and if enough people do it, it's normal. Like, here's a ridiculous example. Like, imagine if I had a giraffe here, just kind of ducking its head, walking around my 1,000 square foot home here in Bedfordshire. Right now, the world would think that was just absolutely nuts and extremely cruel. But if enough people did it, it would be okay. But birds have wings and should be free, and don't even get me started on the people that do clip. Now, a huge amount of people get their birds from breeders. Now, the way this basically goes is, and it may sound harsh, but human looks at bird and says, that looks pretty. Does it talk? I want that in my house. So what this means is they felt it was right to pay a random person a large sum of money to lock up a male and female bird for their entire lives, sometimes hundreds at a time, locked up forever, breeding and breeding and breeding, and then steal their babies year after year for you to lock up in a cage in your home for your own entertainment, and for you to post on socials until you get over it. And the crazy thing is, we actually need breeders. Because we are so selfish, if breeders weren't around, we would pay someone else to go to the wild and steal a baby bird from a nest somewhere in the Amazon and bring it back home to us. And these birds are brought in bottles and terrible, terrible conditions, and most literally don't even survive. I actually had a message from someone this morning who said I should breed Mikey and Mia because this country doesn't have enough responsible breeders in it. Like, what even is a responsible breeder? Someone who responsibly locks up their birds for life and steals their babies year after year and sells them to someone who's going to rehome them over and over again for the next 80 years. Now, as I sit here with 2 blue and gold macaws of my own, this whole rant may sound terribly hypocritical. But I remember when Mummy Human thought it would be fun to get a bird and we first saw Mikey. We both kind of looked at him and said, no, it just did not seem right. We thought it was absolutely crazy to have something like this in a home. And if it wasn't for his previous owner just being so fed up with him and having no time for him, calling us after we got home, begging us to basically take him, we would have just lived a nice, normal life. With Mia, as you know, she wasn't a terrible situation. We had an email about her, we went to check on her, all of her wings were clipped, her owners left her in a tiny cage, a lot. Like, they used to go away for the weekend and leave her there with a bowl of seed kind of thing. We just couldn't leave her, and we just figured with both of them, let's do our best to give them the best life we can. And we 100% have done that. But are we their forever home? Most likely not. I mean, like, there will be a point in the next 30 years or so when we're in our mid-60s and we're unable to constantly bend over picking up bird poop, cleaning the aviaries, cleaning the house 2 or 3 times a day, dealing with that absolutely insane amount of noise. There is an extremely high chance our children will not want them after growing up with them. And we kind of want them to enjoy their lives too. We want them to travel, have some fun, you know, not be massively locked down like this. So when people say forever home, it's usually until when? Now, we get messages a lot of people saying, I've just bought a baby bird, wanting us to be all excited and saying this bird is going to be in its forever home, and they're like 40, and I'm like, okay, that math didn't really add up. The worst thing is people who know this, know the problem of these birds getting rehomed and still go out and buy babies. My socials feed, just being a part of a whole bunch of macaw groups, is people hunting for the best breeder, whatever that is. It's just crazy, and it's not like they don't know. There's a whole bunch of people who do think very, very similar to I do. They're all in the comments being like, look, you gotta rehome. There's a whole bunch of birds in need of a new home, and these people are just looking for that one comment to be like, oh, no, get a baby, it'll be fine. Now, most people I know with macaws, if they've had them 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I ask them, you know, if you could go back in time and rethink your choices, would you? And a majority of them do say yes. I'm not saying this for everyone. There are those crazy bird people out there who live and breathe birds and always will, so I'm not speaking for all right there. Now, we have done these rants a few times over the years, and a lot of what I'm saying is in the Mia's First Eggs video on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, it's a great watch, very, very detailed, about 30 minutes long. I'm very proud of it, and that video received a crazy amount of praise and support, so thank you for that. And I do tend to remind people with this message now and then, every time our inbox gets filled with people being like, I want a parrot. And with these rants, there does come hate, obviously. People say, what gives you the right to have these birds and no one else can? What gives you the right to even say this? We've had people say we keep these birds because they bring us money and fame. I mean, many years ago, we had a lot of fun making YouTube videos quite consistently, and it is kind of nice being rewarded with the hours you put in with that unexpected, nice little chunk of change. And it is amazing that because of these birds, we've built this entire bird food company because of the following that now turns over 6 figures a year, which is just crazy. But this doesn't just happen because we have birds. A crazy amount of work has gone into all of the above, and I would give it up in a second if I knew our birds would be happier elsewhere, which brings me to my next point. We do not think we are the best owners for these birds at all, and have said this for years. I'll just play a quote from this video we filmed a few years back. If anyone out there does know a way we can get them to the wild safely, where we are 100% sure they are going to live and thrive with the right training and environments to set them up for success forever, honestly, let us know. We will do our absolute best to make sure they are happy. Now, we still look into this. It's not normal for anyone to have these giant wild birds trapped in their house. Most end up plucking, they get depressed because it really isn't natural. And we've always said if these birds could be wild, if there was that chance, they would be. And just so I don't sound like a complete hypocrite, if anyone does know a better situation for Mikey and Mia for life, it could be a way into the wild, it could be a situation where they get to fly every single day, they get fed well, they get interaction, they get stimulation. Let us know. We just want the best for them. And the reason we have them right now is because we believe we can offer them the best life. And if there were other options, it would just be extremely selfish of us to actually deprive them of that. We literally jumped into this with zero experience. So if there is someone out there, or a situation where they know for a fact they can give our birds a better life, they would literally be there tomorrow. It would be sad, but obviously we want the best for them. Now, I know I am ranting now, but it is terribly sad to see these extremely intelligent, emotional animals being kind of stuck in horrible situations all over the world. And the sad thing is this will continue for as long as birds are allowed to be pets. But these birds who do live literally a human lifespan, majority of them won't actually get to experience that lifespan, because as their previous owners grow old and die, new bird owners don't want to take slightly older birds on. They would simply just rather have babies, thinking it's easier, and then literally like 5 or 6 years down the line, they get sick of the screaming and the noise and the mess and the destruction, and then they get passed on, and who knows what even happened to those older birds who needed a home. But yeah, to sum up, these birds are not something to treat yourself with. It's not like buying a new coffee machine or a fancy whiskey. And we apologize that we do make it look glamorous and fun. I mean, it is really hard to film all the bad stuff, as we're instantly trying to stop the bad stuff. I mean, if the birds are screaming down the house and my baby daughter's in the room, or if they're about to take a chunk out of the door or bite a hole in the couch, I mean, the last thing I'm thinking about is picking up a camera and starting to film it. But yeah, if you really want a bird, or you know someone who's about to get a bird from a breeder, please share this video with them, and hopefully we can all try and fix the problem before adding to it.